Hey everyone, I thought I would do like a little update on how my little trick problem I had before. I had recently, like maybe a little more than a couple weeks ago, posted a video on my trichotillomania. What I tried doing to help with that is I found an app on my phone, and I seem to have misplaced the phone. I was going to show it to you, but basically for each day that you don't do, or you do the thing that you're supposed to do, you click the day and it does like a little check mark, or you hold it down and it gives you a little X if you didn't quite make your goal that day or whatever. And other than, I think it was only 2 times I had a little, slip. But then the rest of the days have all been check marks. So the whole thing has been going pretty well, but I feel like I'm getting pretty close to I'm not even sure how to explain it, because I do suffer from anxiety and depression. So a lot of the time, especially during the winter time, it seems to hit me a little more than normal. I'll get these really depressive moods, and it takes everything in my power to try to put on a happy face and push myself to do the things that I need to do. Just because you're depressed, you can't stop doing your homework. And, just because you're depressed, you can't stop going to work, even though it feels like it takes 10 times the effort to go do those things. And all I want to do is just, lay on the couch and that's it. And, sometimes it's just you feel tired. Sometimes it's you just feel like you can't do anything right, or you feel so worthless, so lonely, even though you're completely surrounded by people that care about you. And I've dealt with depression for a pretty long time, and it's gotten better, but just sometimes I'll get these little itty-bitty ones and I can push through them pretty well, but sometimes I can tell when I'm going to have a really bad one, and I actually feel like I'm pretty close to getting one right now. I don't know when it's going to hit. All I know is that it's going to be really, really soon, and it scares me. It's an awful feeling, because it's like this area right here feels like 1,000,000 pounds is pushing down on you, and it just feels like it's so much effort to do anything. And it's hard to explain. It almost feels like, sometimes it almost feels like this numbness, and sometimes it almost feels like you're standing next to yourself. It's kind of like an out-of-body experience. I've had a couple of those before, and I am feeling extremely overwhelmed, and I just feel like I'm kind of running around in circles. And I was sitting there, just today, and I'm just it feels like I'm starting to go into that cycle where I'm about to go down, and it feels like this one's going to take some time to get out of. And I don't know if it's the season, or because it always seems to happen at about the same time, or if it's because, I just have so much going on. Maybe it's a mixture of all of it. Maybe it's a chemical imbalance. I don't know. And I feel like there's nothing I can do to stop it, because I've tried multiple ways to try and, fix it. For instance, I've tried ignoring it, keeping my mind busy, or just doing stuff all the time so that I don't have a chance to think about it. But no matter what, as soon as I stop, it's there. Anytime I try to sleep, I sit there and I think about all the, awful things that, I think about. like, for instance, like, I'll think about, like, a time that I did something wrong, and then I'm like, well, why did you do it that way? And I'll sit there and I'll worry about it, and I'm like, but you learned from it, but I'm still upset about it, and I can't get over it, or... Those are just examples. So, we bought a bunch of Halloween candy the other day, and I thought this evening, you know what would make me feel great is one of the bags had, like, you know, nerds and airheads and Smarties and Swedish fish and all kinds of stuff. I love Swedish fish. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to tear this bag open. I'm going to get me some Swedish fish. Now, this bag is huge. It's like this. And there was one bag of frickin' Swedish fish. But you know what? That's fine. I grabbed a couple of other candies. I got my little cherry airhead and a little pack of Smarties. And I'll have them as my little dessert. Oh, I dropped one. Yeah. Saved it. So, some things I've tried is I've tried, like, doing art, because art helps me calm down a little bit, but it never seems to be able to get all of it out. It almost feels like it's an entity, it's in itself, where it's not just your regular emotion. It's like it has its own agenda, and nothing you can do, no amount of trying to cheer yourself up is going to fix it. You have to ride through it. Now, before, I used to take, like, panic attack medicine and antidepressants, and those did help pretty well. But I don't want to, like, be defined by my medication, I guess. I don't want to get, like, addicted to it or feel like I have to take it all my rest of my life. So right now I'm not taking anything. So I'd been thinking about it pretty hard, and I think I want to go back to therapy, even though, like, as silly as it is, I want to go, but at the same time I don't want to go, because basically I'm going to have to face myself in a way. I don't know. It's kind of hard to go to someone and, like, let out all your baggage. You know, I sit here, I talk to my friends about a lot of deep stuff all the time, but it just feels like when you go to a therapist, you kind of have to drop all your dirty baggage. And I don't want to be judged, and sometimes I get emotional, and I don't always like the idea of getting emotional. So, as much as I am worried about the whole situation, I have been thinking about going and doing some therapy. I actually asked my psychology teacher for some help, because she's a psychologist, and she said she'd see if she could, you know, find some of her colleagues that may be, you know, taking in new clients. But the only issue I'm really going to have is right now between, you know, the fact that I only work one day a week, and you know, I now have a car that I have to make payments on so that I have proper transportation and school and all this other stuff. I'm worried that I'm not going to have enough money to go. So I let her know up front. I'm like, hey, I need a low cost or free option. I haven't called the number yet, just because, you know, it's been over the weekend. I assume they're probably closed on the weekends, and I was dealing with a lot of homework and, you know, stuff like that. And I tried to do like a little thing for myself yesterday, where I had some friends over, and, you know, we grilled on the grill, had some hamburgers, and we watched some old scary movies that I liked watching when I was a kid. That helped a little bit, but in the long run, I think that I need to start doing a lot more self-care things than what I have been doing. Because I find that a lot of the times I push my personal needs aside, and I'm always trying to help everyone else, or, you know, just do the daily grind because that's what's expected of you, and I don't want to let people down and things like that. And you know, I you know, this next month, November, is my birthday month, and I just feel like, you know, I'm going to be turning 32, you know, and I need to find a self-care schedule or setup or whatever that allows me to de-stress so that I don't get pent up and explode like I sometimes do, you know, or get depressed because I don't feel like I'm doing anything, because that's exactly what's happening. All I'm doing is the same old thing over and over again. I apologize if I've been repeating myself. I know I think I've said some things that are very similar, so I apologize for that. Let me know in the comments, you know, do you suffer from depression? Does it happen at certain seasons? And what do you do for self-care? I really appreciate you all listening to me. Thank you for anyone who has been keeping up with my videos. I know I haven't been keeping up with it. Mostly it's because my homework assignments have just been so overwhelming. I'm a slow reader, and it's been a lot of reading. And then we had this giant project where I had to read 20 articles and summarize and do an analysis for each and every one of them, and that was very overwhelming. I had a few moments where I actually cried about it because it was just frustrating me so much. Anyway, sorry, I love Swedish fish. So, I hope y'all have a great night, and hopefully I'll have another video up next weekend. If you have any ideas of what you'd like me to talk about or anything you would like to know about me, hit me up in the comment section, and if I feel comfortable with it, I will be more than happy to share that information with you. You guys have a great night. See ya.